Don't eat anything but fresh seafood, and old life of the party Uncle Walter likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
Here's a list of what we have. The Crimson Tide Sports Network. Ding. The Atlanta Braves Radio Network. Ding. Madison Academy Football. Ding. UAH Basketball. Ding. The SEC Radio Network. Ding. The College Football National Championship Game. Ding. The SEC Football Championship Game. Ding. NBA Playoffs. Ding. MLB Playoffs. Ding. And that's just the starting lineup. Ding. Ding. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
That fact is important for you to know.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama.
Alabama!
Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Mets owner Steve Cohen today took to Twitter to voice his displeasure with the team's current slide, 14 losses the last 19 games. As well as the offense, Cohen tweeted, "It's hard to understand how professional hitters can be this unproductive," adding the best teams have a more disciplined approach. The slugging and OPS numbers don't lie. The Mets offense has had a rough season, nearly at the bottom of the majors when it comes to home run, slugging percentage, and OPS, and has scored the third fewest runs. A's waiting for results of the scan on ace Chris Bassett. He was involved in a frightening incident last night, hit in the head by a line drive, carted off the field, was taken to a hospital, never lost consciousness though, according to the team. The scan he underwent will determine if he has any fractures. Miguel Cabrera's quest for 500 home runs resumes tonight when he and the Tigers host the Angels. He's been at .499 since last Thursday.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. This is just your typical summertime fare across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s, some of us climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. It does look like there's going to be a larger lack of sunshine through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a bit lower, highs hanging out in the low and mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
While other stations keep changing their lineup,
Yeah!
we keep plugging away.
Did you lose your mind all of a sudden, or was it a slow, gradual process?
Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Who wants coffee? Anybody want coffee?
Tom, can you get me off the roll type say?
They're tired.
He ain't good looking, but he sure ain't shy. He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. 'Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
It must be Wednesday. I called it hump day.
Oh, yeah. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
Hope it's
huh? Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo! I think it's hump day, right? I'm going with hump day. Pretty sure it is hump day. Welcome all to the hump day edition of the Thom Abraham Show. So glad that you are with us today. And goodness gracious almighty, those hot Atlanta Braves, they just keep rolling.
1-2 pitch. Riley hits one to deep right center field. Sprinting back hard is Sanchez at the wall. This one is gone! Austin Riley long gone over the right center field wall, and the Braves do get that extra run. It's 2-0. The 1-2 on the way. Got him looking, strike three. And the Braves have established their longest winning streak of the season. They've won 5 in a row, and furthermore, 12 of their last 14 have gone into the win column.
12 of the last 14 into the win column, and the Braves now with a 2.5-game lead over Philadelphia as Atlanta has set sail. I mean, let's just be honest. I told you, ain't looking back now. They are flat set sail. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to continue to win, 12 out of 14 games, but they're not going to go and win 2 out of 14 games and fall all the way back to where they were. They are gone now in the NL East. Fully believe that. And in New York, the Yankees swept Boston in a doubleheader, and they've now won 5 straight, 12 of the last 15, to overtake Boston for second in the AL East, just 5 games off of Tampa Bay, where the Rays are playing great. They have the best record in baseball in the American League anyway. And the Yankees are just 5 games behind them. They're now tied with Oakland for the 2 wild card spots. The Yankees were 10.5 games behind first-place Red Sox on July 5th and have gone 26-11 since. 26-11. They have the best record in baseball since the start of July, basically, and have overtaken Boston. In a scary scene in Chicago last night, as A's pitcher Chris Bassett took a ball at 100 miles an hour to the head off the bat of White Sox center fielder Bryant Goodwin. That looked awful. Awful. He was taken to the hospital. He's awake and conscious, but, man, I got to be honest. I am surprised that does not happen more. I really am. I mean, think about it. The batter is wearing a helmet, has been wearing a helmet since the early 60s. And they're throwing at that guy. And you've got an idea when you know that the ball is being thrown at you every single pitch. Right? It's not being thrown at your head, but I mean it's being thrown within a foot or two of you every single pitch, and you're wearing a helmet. When you're on the pitcher's mound, by the time you deliver the pitch, you're now 55 feet away, and you're not anticipating the ball being hit at you every single pitch, and you got no lid on. You got no hard hat on. Now, some of them have that little insert that goes in the helmet. Wouldn't have helped this guy. I mean, in the hat. It wouldn't have helped this guy because he got hit in the side of the face. 55 feet away, 100 miles an hour. Just below the eye. I cringe just to think about it. There is no answer to this. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. These new maple bats that are harder than, the old ash bats. The ball, that's why that exit velocity is so much higher. These bats now are, in some cases, some people think that the maple bat has a higher exit velocity than a BB core bat. The bat that they use in college and high school. Those maple bats those things are hard. Those things are like a table leg. They are hard. 100 miles an hour. And last night, there was one in the Yankees-Red Sox game that went right back up the middle that almost took the guy's head off. I don't know. There's no answer for it. I don't know what the answer for it. And in another baseball story, Detroit broadcaster Jack Morris. Yes, that Jack Morris, who's now 66. How old do we feel? Wolverine Dan, how old do you feel? Kate, the Michigan fan. Jack Morris is 66. Jack Morris! Anyway, Jack Morris is in hot water over a comment he made when Shohei Ohtani came to the plate last night in a critical moment in the Angels-Tigers game.
Now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani? Be very, very careful.
When Ohtani came up again later on in the game, Morris apologized for that comment.
Well, folks, Shohei Ohtani is coming to the plate, and it's been brought to my attention, and I sincerely apologize if I offended anybody, especially anybody in the Asian community, for what I said about pitching and being careful to Shohei Ohtani. I did not intend for any offensive thing, and I apologize if I did. Certainly respect and have the utmost respect for this guy, and don't blame a pitcher for walking.
All right. So there's a few layers to this one. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm an insensitive Neanderthal, and we know that. That's offensive. Do you remember the SNL skit, Baseball has been very, very good to me? Remember that? The skit with the Latin play, baseball has been very, very good to me. And that's all the guy says. They keep interviewing him, and baseball has been very, very good to me. Part of this is the fact that Jack Morris is, I mean, he could be 66 years old, but he's still got jock mentality. That's the locker room coming out a little bit there. And isn't that a little bit of what we want? Not the offensive part, I guess, but we want the jocular locker room part of color commentators that are former players. Did he go too far? Did he go too far? Was that offensive to you? Phone lines are open. Jump in the old-fashioned way, 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. You could also use the text window, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. Digital Doghouse is there as well. Our Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. Facebook is Thom Abraham Show. The Zone is all over Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there as well. Maybe I should take a look and see how it looks. I mean, it kind of almost changes every day. Oh, man. It looks sweet. It looks really good. All right. You want to jump in, you can do that as well. Make sure you get the app so you can take advantage of our great deals like Metro Diner right now. It's a fantastic deal at Metro Diner. Check that out. Coming up in this hour, we have a Caray's Corner with Josh Caray of the Trash Pandas. The boys are back at Toyota Field this week. It is dog tag night tonight. Rocket City with an exciting win last night in front of a big ladies' night crowd at the stadium. At the top of the 11, David Moulton from the NFL on Fox and the SEC on CBS will join us. He is the guy behind the scenes with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on Fox's number one game. He's like handing them the notes and so on, all that little minutia and things like that. That's his job. He's not the spotter. The spotter points to the spotting chart that Joe Buck has in front of him, okay? And that guy is pointing to like who made the tackle and who caught the ball and things like that. That's a spotter. What David is like he's like the info guy. He's the minutia guy. He's the one that's handing the little notes and things like that to Troy Aikman and to Gary Danielson on the CBS and SEC games. We're looking for some good value bets on teams to make the college football playoff. The favorites are the usual suspects. Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, Ohio State are all greater than even money. I mean, this is ridiculous. 4 teams for the 4-team playoff are even money or better. In other words, you have to bet more money than what your return would be. You get your bet back, obviously. But like for Alabama, who is the favorite, you'd have to bet $400 to make a $100 profit. You know, bet $400 to make a $100 profit. Clemson, you'd have to bet $700 to make a $100 profit. Now you say, well, wait a minute. Who's the favorite, Alabama or Clemson? Well, Clemson is in a conference that's a walkover right now. Nobody expects any pressure from anybody. Alabama's in a conference. They got to get through Georgia, Florida, LSU, Auburn, Texas A&M. So Alabama's more difficult conference puts them at minus 400. 400 to make 100. Clemson, 700 to make 100. Ohio State, 250 to make 100. Oklahoma, 220 to make 100. And then there's Georgia, which is a small plus 150. So if you put 100 on Georgia and they make it to the playoff, you make 150 back plus your initial bet. So the question is, forget those teams. Where is there a value? Is there a value out there? In other words, the Florida Gators are plus 1,100. I'm just using them as an example. I'm not saying they're the best value, but if you put a $100 bill on the Florida Gators and they make it to the playoff, not win the national championship, make it to the playoff, you get $1,100 back for your $100 bill. Put $10 on them, you make $110. Just giving you an idea there. I just threw a team out there. It was the first one that was on the list. Notre Dame is plus 700. So if you put $10 on Notre Dame, you make 70. Put $100 on Notre Dame, you make 700. You put $1,000 on Notre Dame, you make 7,000. If they make the play, just got to make the playoff. Just make the play. We'll get into that with him as well. And every year, half of the NFL playoff teams are turned over. Every year, half turnover. So who that was in the playoffs last year in the NFL is now out this year. Half of the playoff teams from last year are not going to make the playoffs this year. I'm sorry, it's a fact. It's just the numbers support it. Every year, just about half of the playoff teams turn over. I mean, the Patriots and the Texans were in the playoffs in 2019. And they were replaced by Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And then the Colts because they expanded the playoffs. I mean, it's just a fact. Last year in the NFC, Philadelphia, Minnesota, and San Francisco were in the playoffs in 2019. Philadelphia, Minnesota, and San Francisco were half of the playoff teams in 2019. Last year, they were replaced by Washington, Chicago, Tampa Bay, and then the Rams. Because they're of the fourth, because there's now 7 playoff teams. So we'll get into that with David. Scott Frost's fall from grace continues since he won that national championship at UCF. According to a report, Nebraska and Frost are under NCAA investigation for improper use of analytics and consultants. According to the report, the school has significant video footage that violations took place at practice in the presence of Scott Frost, and Frost has hired legal counsel. It's also being reported that Nebraska relocated its strength workouts to an off-season or an off-campus location to avoid detection by non-football school officials. And these workouts were held by Nebraska staff, which violates the NCAA rules. Last year, Frost had analyst Jonathan Rutledge, who's not with the team anymore, in charge of his special teams. His special teams coordinator was Jonathan Rutledge, who was not one of the team's 10 full-time on-field assistants. Brett McMurphy is pointing out that a suspension for Scott Frost is among potential NCAA violations. Frost is 12-20 overall since going to Nebraska, 9-17 in the 10. He should be suspended for sucking. I mean, if he's breaking rules, Scott Frost is breaking rules to go 12-20. You got to come up with some other rules to break, Scott. I have a Scott Frost story that I'm very reticent to bring up but it was shared with me first person. Now, it was shared with me first person 20 years ago. I feel compelled to share it. I don't know if I'm going to go into full detail. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. We'll see how the show goes. if there's a moment in time, I may need to share this story a little bit. Over there in that little glass room, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air and watching the Summer League basketball. It's Coach Chris.
Do you know who I am?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and pollen.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
You don't ever say that to me. Bullcrap.
There won't be any misinformation. There won't be any false statements. There won't be any hearsay.
How come there ain't no Puerto Ricans on Star Trek?
When you ask me those kind of questions, it really pisses me off.
Thom, can you get me off the hook? For old time's sake.
You ask a question every week that I don't know anything about.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
You do what everybody else in the media does, just create some and throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
I ain't gonna be buried. I want a taxidermist to stuff me. Say hello to my new friend.
Grizz, man, I'll tell you what, that's the best yet. Every day it gets better and better. The video feed of the show, that is the best looking one yet, man. It says on the crawl that who's coming up on the show today, and it's really cool, man. I'm just saying it's really cool.
You can hear
Steve
Moulton over here fanboying once again about Brent Musburger.
Why,
you should have heard him last night.
Why is he so excited about
his
Brent
voice
Musburger?
trembled the whole time you talked to him.
Why is he so excited about it? Why is he still talking about it? Yeah, Brent Musburger on the show last night. Why
he loved it.
Was that like a...
He was just messing.
Was that a seminal moment for him, maybe? Is that like one of them moments?
It's a fanboy moment, yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Brent
There's always a fanboy moment.
Brent is his guy or something? Or
you had your fanboy moment.
Who was on?
With Kay.
Who? Oh, Michael Kay.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
But that
of course,
was a
and we
different
knew
kind of
that was
fanboy
going to
because
happen.
that was because it was
Voice
my
of the
team.
Yankees.
I mean, I didn't get that way when I had Costas on or when I had, those guys in the past and stuff. But, yeah, Michael Kay. I mean, it was just because he's the voice of the Yankees. That's a whole nother deal. But, by the way, one little thing there for people that are watching it on the screen. The YouTube is 97.7 ESPN The Zone. All right?
They can still find it if you search 97.7 ESPN.
Well, you're liable to get the old one. You do get the old one, so don't say you could still find it. Give them the right name so they look under the right thing, because we're having a problem with that. People are going to 97.7 ESPN, and they're getting that other clowns.
They knew how to use a computer, I guess.
They're still getting the other clowns. If you put in 97, if you're a dude and you go to YouTube and you put in 97.7 ESPN, it goes to the old one.
If you subscribe and then you just type in 97.7 ESPN in the search
bar,
no.
Boom,
it'll find it right
after
away.
you subscribe. All right, it's 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For those of you that want to subscribe,
number one.
It's 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For those of you that want to subscribe to our new YouTube channel, because we don't want them at that old YouTube channel.
See, I had to space it too, and it just didn't look as good as all the other ones. Everything
well,
else
it
looked
might
uniform,
not, but
you know?
I mean, you got to give them the facts.
I understand that.
You still got to give them the details.
It would
do you
ugly.
have to space
I didn't want to do it. Yeah,
no,
you do. Yeah, you do.
Why? You mean when you look it up?
Yeah, because I've had to do that before.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Just put it on there. Just get it right. I've
already made it like 3 times.
This. I got a hot take on the Summer League. I got a hot take on Summer League basketball. You ready for this?
What's up? Hawks look good. I just dropped my phone.
I think that the uniforms they wear in the Summer League are better than the uniforms they wear during the NBA.
There's some.
I do. Some of them are better. I mean, I watched, like, I don't know. I must have watched 18, 20 seconds of the Celtics and the Sacktown last night, Sacramento and Boston.
Yeah, it was like 100 to 67 or something like that.
I don't know. When I turned my TV on in the bedroom.
That's some good youth.
The game was on when I turned the TV on in the bedroom because ESPN was on. So the game was there. And then I stopped for a second. I said, you know what? That is a better Sacramento uniform. And that is a pretty good Celtics uniform because the Celtics uniform is best when it's plain. It's not when they do all that stupid stuff to it, you know? But I think the Summer League uniforms are cool. There you go. That's my
Did you
entire
also
take
hear
on the NBA.
Did you also hear what happened during the Summer League? Like what
No.
you're going to get on Christmas Day?
No.
Hawks and Knicks.
Oh, yeah, that hasn't even to do with summer league.
But I'm just saying, like, if
with
the schedule, yeah, man.
Did they
Hawks
announce
and
it
Knicks,
during the
man.
summer league game or something?
It was around that time. Hawks and Knicks, man. How about that? How you feel on Christmas Day to get a Christmas Day game?
Five Christmas Day games.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. I'll be watching that.
I think the NBA should open on Christmas Day. I think that should be opening day. I don't need the NBA in November. You know what I mean? Not during the football and everything else. Christmas Day is early enough for the NBA, as far as I'm concerned. Open it on Christmas Day. I don't know what are they? I'm sure the Lakers are in. Probably the Lakers and the Clippers. I don't know. There's 5 games. 5 games on opening day. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, Josh Caray joins us. So the Trash Pandas. We're a little Caray's Corner. Coming up next. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
With only one more full calendar month left in the 2021 Major League Baseball season, the Dodgers still the odds-on favorite to repeat as World Series champions at plus 300. The Astros and White Sox each at plus 500, with the Giants and Rays behind them each at plus 800 odds. Golf, the 2021 Northern Trust Open this week. John Rahm, the odds-on favorite at 10-1. Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, and Dustin Johnson each at 16-1, with Xander Schauffele and Brooks Koepka at 20-1. The Northern Trust begins tomorrow in New Jersey. The Braves minus 200 moneyline favorites at the Marlins tonight. Miami plus 170, the over-under 7.5. It'll be Charlie Morton on the hill for Atlanta.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great-grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
Sitting here with Ann Adams of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate. Is it a good time to sell your home, Ann?
Yes, it is. We have people relocating from all over the country.
Why should we choose Rise Real Estate?
Well, we've been selling real estate in North Alabama for 36 years and have sold more real estate than any other real estate company, period.
Do you help your customers through the entire process?
Yes, our agents are with you during the whole process from start to finish, from beginning to end.
In your relocation services, you have a whole team.
Yes, we have a dedicated relocation department helping customers move seamlessly into the area.
Ann Adams has been writing contracts for the last 36 years. She has the experience to help you list and sell your home. downsize your home, or help pick the perfect spot north of Alabama for you to build a future.
Call Ann Adams at 256-337-2625 or on the web at www.bhhsriserealestate.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. The electrical panel is the heart of your home's electrical system. Malfunctions can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk or in the dark altogether. Fixing it quickly will help keep you and your family safe. So trust our team of electrical experts at Mr. Sparky to get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. This is just your typical summertime fare across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s, some of us climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. It does look like there's going to be a larger lack of sunshine through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a bit lower, highs hanging out in the low and mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and Twitch. Just search 97.7 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Baseball, the man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
And welcome back to Tom Abraham Show.
Well, Casey was winning. Hank Aaron was beginning.
Segment of the show is brought to you by the Rocket City Trash Pandas. What an exciting win last night on Ladies' Night for the Trash Pandas. Took the lead in the 8th, almost gave it up in the 9th, but hung on for the win. The voice of the Trash Pandas, of course, is Josh Caray, and he joins us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Josh, welcome back. How are you, man?
I'm good, Tom, especially after last night. That was a fun game. Happy to be here.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. I mean, it was the Trash Pandas did their thing in the bottom of the 8th, and you're thinking, oh, this is great, built up a little bit of a lead, and then almost blew it in the top of the 9th, but were able to hang on and secure the win.
Yeah, I mean, they were down 3-2 entering the bottom of the 8th, and there was a succession of 3 straight hitters where the ball, there were 3 hits, but the total distance on those 3 at-bats must have been about 100 feet. There was a bunt single, there was a chopper back to the mound where the pitcher couldn't make a play, and then there was a little bloop just beyond first base that fell in to score a run. And then after that, Ray Patrick Ditter with the big bases-clearing double. And then in the top of the 9th, Chattanooga came back. They made it a 6-5 game. They had runners at the corners with 2 out, and then their guy hit into a 5-4-3 double play on the first pitch. So it was wild. It was fun. It was a well-played game. It was crisply played. It's probably one of the better ball games I've seen all season.
Yeah, some good baseball there, and the Trash Pandas kind of pulling away from Chattanooga a little bit and setting their sights on Birmingham in the division. 3 games back of Birmingham in the division. Whether or not that gets them in the playoff or not, that's a whole other thing. But 3 more big series left at home, and tonight, dog tag night. Have you seen these dog tags yet? First 500 dogs get these really cool dog tags. Have you seen them yet? I
haven't seen them yet, but I'm going to get one. I got my own 4-legged friend at home, so he's he's going to get to have one, and I can't wait to take a look at him. But, yeah, it goes to the first 500 dogs. This has been a year-long promotion of ours. It's my favorite one because I love animals. And it always gives me a chance to bring Benny to the game. And, yeah, it should be a lot of fun, and we hope people come on out with their four-legged friend and have a good time.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you. Do you actually bring your dog to the – and does he hang out in the in your radio booth? Does he stay put there?
Yeah, he's my statistician. So he keeps up with everything, and he's been there all year. I try to bring him on Wednesdays and Sundays because when I'm out of town, of course, he doesn't see me. So we try to stay. I try to stay in front of him as much as possible. He's 11 years old. He was my mom's dog, and then when Mom passed away, I got to adopt him, and he's been great. So I try to be around him as much as possible.
That is very cool. I'll tell you what, we'll give away a family 4-pack of tickets for tonight's game right now. All you got to do is give Chad a holler at 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977, and we will hook you up with 4 tickets for tonight's game. Weather's going to be fine. I'm just telling you right now, weather's fine. Don't worry about it. It's going to be a good night at the ballpark, and it's not oppressively hot as well, so it's going to be really, really cool. 256-576-4977. You got to come to the radio station and pick them up. We're not leaving them at will call. You got to come downtown and pick them up at the radio station, and we will hook you up with 4 tickets to the dog tag giveaway dog night down there at the stadium. And then tomorrow night, it's Sprocket Hero Night. I mean, are they wearing special jerseys? Tell me about this thing coming up with this doubleheader tomorrow night.
Yeah, so you remember last week you were talking about the Pensacola Blue Wahoos and their specialty jerseys?
Yeah.
We're gonna do something similar. I don't know what they look like, but they are going to be superhero jerseys. And so it is Superhero Night at the ballpark. It will be a doubleheader. It's also Thirsty Thursday. It'll be Burgers and Buds happy hour up on the inline rock porch. But, yeah, our players will be wearing specialty jerseys, I think, for Game 2 of the doubleheader. Both games are 7 innings long, and then once the game's over, we'll be auctioning off those jerseys for sale. So that'll be a lot of fun for us. We've done this a couple of times. We did one on Military Remembrance Day right before Memorial Day, and so now we're going to do one here for Superhero Night. So it should be a lot of fun and a great way to kick off the weekend.
I'm looking at the jersey that they're showing on the web page. It appears to be like it's got blue shoulders and a lighter blue body to it. It's going to be very interesting. I think it's just a jersey, though. You're not going to be wearing the powder blue pants. Not going all in like Pensacola did, but this is a pretty cool looking jersey. If Josh Caray had to be one superhero, who's Josh Caray going to be? What superhero? And don't say a Power Ranger like Grizz did yesterday, because Power Rangers are not superheroes. To him, they might be, but they're not superheroes. So what superhero would you be if you could only be one superhero?
He-Man. I was a big He-Man fan growing up. I was just 5 or 6 years old when that was on. I remember the show. I remember Skeletor was like the big evil guy.
Yeah.
And so, that just takes me back a little bit. So He-Man would be mine.
He-Man would be your guy. Did you see, I mentioned you on a tweet yesterday. I can't remember which player it was, but a player did your grandfather calling a home run by him. And it's a Cubs player that apparently has got a reputation for doing a great Harry Caray. Everybody and their brother, I think, tries to do a Harry Caray imitation out there. But did you happen to see that?
I did, and it was during the game, so I couldn't get back to you.
Right.
But it was Ryan Dempster.
He
has a good impersonation. But I think to be more clear, it's more of a Will Ferrell doing Harry Caray impersonation than an actual Harry Caray impersonation. It's very good. It's funny. It's cute. I think the one downside is what I just said. A lot of people remember more Will Ferrell doing Harry Caray than how good Grandpa was back in the day.
Yeah.
But I get it. It's funny. It makes people laugh, and Ryan keeps it in good taste, so I appreciate it.
The comedy part of it is what's great, and going back and forth and and your grandfather did do that. I mean, he would, bounce in and out of stories while he was calling the game, which was fantastic. The voice, you're right, but that's the caricature, right? I mean, that's what happens when you become somebody that's larger than life like Harry Caray, is there is a caricature, and so everybody expands upon that and makes it sound even more, over the top than it is. But the fact that Ryan Dempster was barely alive, probably when your grandfather was in his heyday, is it just goes to show that he's gonna live on forever when it comes to baseball people.
Yeah, well, it helps. I mean, it helped a few years ago when the Cubs went to the World Series and people began looking back at the Cubs' history and some of the great personalities who never got to see a World Series. Grandpa was one, Ron Santo another, Ernie Banks. And so it gave a new generation an introduction to Grandpa and what he accomplished and what he did and what he was about and why he's such a big deal and why they have the statue outside Wrigley Field. And so being able to introduce that is really important. I'll be interested to see how they're able to carry it forward. I know the Cubs do as good of a job as they can, and I'm grateful for it. But, it's been fascinating to watch it continue to live on after all these years. And, that's a mix of the Cubs playing good baseball, the Cubs keeping the legacy alive, and people willing to learn about their history and what makes the Cubs so big.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I was watching this documentary it might have been on the MLB Network. I'm not sure what it was, but it was about the organ player for the Chicago White Sox. And it was kind of fascinating. And it was when she did, I forget, say that she's the one that popularized the, hey, hey, goodbye, during the 70s that they did then. And I had forgotten that Harry did the White Sox in the 70s. Because I think of him as, from a historical standpoint, I think of the Cardinals. I mean, he was with the Cardinals for so many years.
The White Sox were so bad back in those days. No one really cared to tune in some of the time. But they were a great broadcast duo, and Pearsall was nuts. I mean, I think he went to a psychiatric center a couple times.
Yeah, no, he was certifiable. There was no doubt about it.
They would say things about ball players that you couldn't get away with today. Tony La Russa, late in Grandpa's tenure there, wanted to fight Grandpa because of some of the things he said about the White Sox. This is when Jim Leland was his top guy. And so there was he and Pearsall, they would go after these guys, but that's what made them so popular. They told it like it was, and that wound up leading to Grandpa going to the Cubs when Mr. Vex sold the team to Jerry Reinsdorf, and Reinsdorf wanted to change things up. That left Grandpa a free agent, and that's what led him to the Cubs and his great run there.
And if you're old enough, like I am, you remember the movie Fear Strikes Out, and that was the story of Jimmy Pearsall and how he had a bipolar disorder, and he lost it. With the Red Sox, the well-known story where he's climbing up the netting to go after fans and things like that, and it wasn't, people didn't understand it then like they do now, and it was, that movie Fear Strikes Out. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I frankly, I've never seen the movie, but I had heard, stories about Jimmy and just him and Grandpa working together. And knowing my grandfather and how tough he could be, I'm surprised they were able to make it last for 11 seasons. But again, I think they wound up feeding off each other. And I think for Jimmy, that was a great outlet for him, being able to stay in the game and also being able to kind of be himself with Grandpa there. And, of course, Grandpa had a guy who was able to let him be who he was. And so they really worked well together, and they formed one of the great duos in broadcast history.
No doubt about it. Josh Caray with us here, the voice of the Trash Pandas. I don't know if you heard this last night, speaking of the trade and broadcasters, Jack Morris. I mean, great. I can't even believe that Jack Morris is 66. I mean, I sit here and I'm like, I'm the same age I was 20 years ago. I don't understand how Jack Morris – I can't fathom in my mind Jack Morris is 66 years old, just like Paul O'Neill, I think, is 50. And I'm listening to that the other day, and I'm like, no. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But Jack Morris, 66 years old, on the Tigers broadcast, Shohei Ohtani comes up to bat. He is asked, how to handle Shohei Ohtani, and he says,
now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani?
Be very, very careful.
He got wrecked for that. And I know it's a different day. And we remember the SNL skit. Remember that old skit about baseball that had been very, very good to me, with the Latin player and all of that thing. But I I mean, I'm a Neanderthal, I guess. I mean, is that really that offensive? Is that really a big deal? But he got raked over the coals for it and apologized later on in the game for making apparently an offensive comment.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where, yeah, there was a time where that was okay. But as you mentioned, times have changed. And if you're going to be on TV or the radio or, even writing, you got to know that. And you got to be aware of that. And it's up to Jack and it's up to his producers to tell him, hey, you can't do these types of things anymore that you did 20 years ago. I remember Grandpa, since we're talking about Grandpa, I want to say this was 94 or 95, I guess. This was when Hideo Nomo was a really big deal. He went down to the clubhouse to do an interview with Jim Riggleman, who was the Cubs manager at the time. And he referred to Nomo in a term for Japanese people that is very offensive today, but was very commonly said to people of my grandfather's age who were around during World War II, during Pearl Harbor and all that stuff. And, my grandfather, he just saw it as just, something you said. It wasn't anything negatory or derogatory. That's just how you described Japanese people. And he got a little dust up for that. He was so big, though, you couldn't really bring him down. But there was also kind of an understanding that, Harry, he's 80-something years old. He's come from a different era at a time where you could say those types of things. And so he was given a pass. And what I would say to people of the younger generation who hear something like that, if you want to say something, understood. And if you want to, say that's wrong, I completely get it. But try to understand where other people are coming from, too. And, let's try to work together and let's educate. That's the biggest thing. There's not a lot of teaching. There's not a lot of education. There's a lot of wrecking over the coals, and there's a lot of bullying and a lot of pushing around and all this other stuff. But at some point, you got to teach people. And until you teach, no one's going to get better. So that's what I hope comes of all this, and we'll just see what happens.
And don't you think to a certain extent some of this is when we've got ex-players in the booth, that's locker room stuff. We know we hear some awful stuff in locker rooms. I mean, I've been around locker rooms for a long time, and these guys are brutal with each other, and that's they call it being jocular or whatever, but that's a little bit what Jack Morris gave you a little peek of inside the locker room and how guys talk to each other and how they break each other's stones and so on, but it doesn't translate often when it gets to the broadcast, and that's why you listen to it and you roll your eyes, really, did you go there? But it didn't seem that bad. But that's what you'll get every once in a while when you got ex-athletes, that are, because what's said in the dugout and in the locker room is something that make a lot of people cringe.
Well, and the big thing is, I think the athletes, especially successful ones like Jack Morris, in order to translate into the TV or radio booth, you have to humble yourself, and you have to say, hey, what I did as a professional for 20 whatever years, it ain't going to fly in this new profession. So I need to step back, and I need to take a break, and I need to change my ways, and I need to do some things differently. And very few guys can fully adapt to that. A lot of them do. A lot of them try their best, but it's such a going from being a ball player to being a broadcaster. Even though it's the same sport, it is a completely different turn of the clock, 180, in terms of the personality you have to present. Because, as you said, if you take the stuff from the clubhouse and put it on air, you're going to get fired in a heartbeat. And I think, unfortunately, Jack is learning that right now.
Yeah, watching the Yankees-Red Sox game last night, there was a swing taken by Giancarlo Stanton, who has the worst-looking – he is the best baseball player with the ugliest swing I've ever seen in my life. But he swung at a pitch that was inside, and David Cohn made a little comment about it, and the Cohn and Paul O'Neill just went totally dead silent, and you knew that the wheels were turning in their head of all the things that they wanted to say about Giancarlo Stanton. And then on the next swing, he hits a 450-foot home run, which is Giancarlo Stanton. All right, finally, the Braves. Last week at this time, I said by the end of the week the Braves would be in first place. They were. Yesterday, I said they'll never look back now. I mean, this is it. They're gone. They're not going to play 14-2 baseball or 12-2 baseball the rest of the year, but it does seem like they have found a groove and up 2.5 games now on the Phillies, and I just feel like now they're going to secure that spot. And it just goes to show how baseball is so much bigger than just one guy. They lose one of the best players in all of baseball, and they're playing the best baseball they've played all year long.
Best baseball, and they're doing it with a guy who, a lot of people, I think, kind of rolled their eyes when Brian Snitker was hired. They said, really? We couldn't get, a bigger name? Brian Snitker can manage. He's really, really good. And he kept that, and I think the biggest thing was he kept the guys focused, even with the injuries and even with the tough schedule. And even though things weren't going right for, most of the first 3.5 months, he kept guys focused and he kept them confident. And it's amazing the moves that they made up to the trade deadline, getting Stephen Vogt and Duvall and guys like that. These little pieces who, they might not be earth-shattering moves, but they're the type of guys you can plug into your clubhouse and plug into your lineup and help you win several games. And when you combine enough of those guys together, you get a different feel, you get a different culture, and guys start feeling a lot more confident about the season. So this has been a great job from the top down regarding the Braves and what they've been able to do this season. I don't think they'll go very far in the playoffs. I'm just being very candid. But, they seem to be well on their way to a postseason berth. And Brian Snitker and crew, they got the job done. But still ways to go. I think the Phillies are going to have something to say, too.
Always a pleasure. Great stuff. Josh Caray and Caray's Corner joining us and each and every week. And, Josh, we look forward to doing it again next week. Have a great call tonight.
All right, partner. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's get a break. We'll come back, wrap up this segment, this hour, right after this. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Brooks & Collier has always been about making the most of your outdoors. Our lush greenhouse and new furniture ideas will inspire you, but we're also about value. Our brands are so handsome, they'll make themselves comfortable inside or out, and so well made, they'll weather the weather for many years to come. Our staff can consult you on the right choices, and Lucy for sure can show us the sofa that's the most comfortable. Make the most of your outdoors. Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. This is just your typical summertime fare across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s, some of us climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. It does look like there's going to be a larger lack of sunshine through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a bit lower, highs hanging out in the low and mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
On the southbound breeze, somewhere between heaven and the tall pine trees. Hard land, I'm missing you.
Now, welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. All right, hour number one is in the hopper. Coming up at the top of the hour, David Moulton. He's one of your favorite guests. I mean, I get more positive feedback from having David Moulton on than I do almost of anybody else. I mean, I'm not going to fanboy. I'm like, you know, like I
would.
The other Moulton is, you know, with Musburger. I'm not going there. But David and I worked together for a number of years. I love having him on. We're great friends. And he's coming up next. We're going to talk college football, some NFL. Pull the curtain back a little bit on a few things as well. It's the Tom Abraham Show. Hour number two is on deck. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
In today's real estate market, you need the right professionals to help make sure your home purchase is smooth and hassle-free. That's where Jacob Title comes in. Stan McDonald and the staff at Jacob Title cater to the realtor and clients who are looking for a top-flight closing experience. Jacob Title uses the latest and best technologies to ensure a safe and secure exchange of funds, and they pride themselves on great communication well before and during the real estate closing process. Jacob Title in Huntsville and Madison, and online at jacobtitle.com.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but one have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
Angie's List is now Angie. Summer is the perfect time to book your next home project. From lawn care to a new patio, Angie makes it simple to connect with pros who can get the job done right. See reviews, upfront pricing, and instantly book hundreds of projects. Plus, when you book and pay through Angie, we'll cover your project up to the full purchase price, plus limited damage protection with our Happiness Guarantee. Check out Angie.com, and for more on the Happiness Guarantee, go to Angie.com/happiness-guarantee.htm.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. The following liner is courtesy of Frank Caliendo. Check out Frank online at frankcaliendo.com.
Tell you what, man, listen to Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings. Knock on wood if you're with me. I say his name right? Tyson?
As the Braves continue to battle for the East, we're bringing you every game and every epic moment of this crazy season.
Offering on the way, that is smoked. Deep right field, sailing way back towards the seats, and that is gone.
Tonight, Ozzie Albies and the Braves gear up for another National League East battle on the road in Miami as they take on Sterling Marte and the Marlins. Braves Radio goes on the air at 5:55 Eastern, 4:55 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
It must be Wednesday. I called it hump day.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is?
Hump day is what it is.
Guess what day it is?
Hump day.
Huh? Anybody?
Hump day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Let's guess what today is.
It's hump day.
Hump day! All these consultants and stuff, they tell me I'm too corny. hump day is too corny. I do this is too corny. That's too corny. I don't know. 23 years on the radio. I'm not sure how much longer I can last being so corny. But, it is what it is. All right, a guy that does a tremendous job in whatever medium that he is doing. Whether he's writing or whether he's doing radio or whether he's working with the NFL on Fox or the SEC on CBS. Very, very bright guy. He's one of your favorite guests. I always get positive feedback whenever I have David Moulton on. No relation to Steve Moulton. He joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, welcome back. How are you?
Tom, thanks for the call. How are you? How are your listeners? How's life in the pursuit of happiness?
Well, when the Braves win 12 out of 14 games and come from dead to, leading the division and pulling away, things are good in this part of the world. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I think that division's over. I really do. I know the Phillies are close enough, but listen, the Braves have the pedigree. I loved every single move that Anthopoulos made, and I don't know if they can beat Milwaukee or the Giants or the Dodgers, but I think it's 4 in a row.
And they did a couple of things without having to really bastardize the farm or anything. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't go all in because they were a 500 team at the trade deadline. But, picking up Adam Duvall has been huge. And, for him to insert him into the lineup and the damage that he has been able to do. And it's just like everybody has picked up Ronald Acuna Jr., and they're getting some good pitching, and away they go.
Well, the pitching had to get better. And really what's happened is guys started performing the way that they normally do, except for Swanson. I mean, Swanson's taken it to the next level, but Freddie Freeman started being Freddie Freeman again. Everybody else, the pitchers were not awful. They were just pitching awfully. So now they're starting to pitch the way they should have been pitching all along. That's the big difference between the Braves and the Mets. The Mets key guys, they all suck. They're having a bad year. Well, what can the GM do? I mean, you only got what you got. I mean, the Braves key guys started picking it up. I mean, the reason the Phillies are in it is because Harper, Realmuto, and McCutchen are having really good years. So's Wheeler. So's Nola. Well, that's their 5 best players. They have no chance if those guys don't perform.
And I'm not usually a big proponent of moves that you make at the All-Star or at the trade deadline that make a big difference. But, of course, I watch the Yankees every night. I can't believe the change in attitude in the dugout, energy, whatever you want to call it. But Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo come over, and then Rougned Odor, a guy off the scrap heap. I mean, Scott Brocious wants to know where the hell Rougned Odor came from. That guy with all the energy and everything else, and then all these kids they had to bring up during COVID when they lost a bunch of guys to the COVID list, and they brought all of this kind of energy and now they're out of their minds. They've won something like 12 of their last 15 and have run down the Red Sox and setting sail now for the Rays, whether they catch them or not. But it's amazing the way the mental makeup, if you will, of a team can change by bringing in some new blood.
Well, I think what happened to the Braves has happened to the Yankees. It was stale. They needed some life. The GM helped around the edges, gave them some life, and then basically looked at the big boys and said, okay, you had a bad first half, get it together. And a lot of that's happened in the Bronx as well. It started by calling up the young kids. They needed to get more athletic. They needed to have some juice. Then the Rizzo and the Gallo, even though Gallo hasn't done much, his presence alone, all right, a lefty bat in the lineup helps. And then some guys started performing. Judge, Stanton, a few others are starting to finally stay healthy and perform. And if you're key guy, it's the same in football, which I know we're going to get to here. I mean, the dudes have to get it done. If your dudes aren't dudes, you don't win.
Yeah, it's a great point. David Moulton with us. So you're behind the scenes in the Fox booth with the number one team of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. You do the same thing with the SEC on CBS. I was wondering when I was watching the Field of Dreams game, do they have a dude like you during a baseball game too? Because baseball, you got a lot of dead time, you know what I mean? And they can kind of do their own research and so on. But do they have a guy that is, doing what you do for the football deal as you've done it for golf as well? Do they do that in baseball?
I don't think Smoltz has somebody But Joe has a long-time researcher who's like part of the family now, all right? Steve, I forget his last name, and he's been with Joe for nearly 25 years, and he does a great deal of Joe's research, prepares him a binder for everything that Joe does, and Joe's as prepared as anybody I've ever been around. And so a lot of it is done beforehand. I mean, there's a stats guy up there to keep track of number of pitches and what have you, who can relay information from the truck. But for the most part, it's Joe and Smoltz.
Yeah.
Once the game starts,
we've been talking about broadcasters, hosts as such as us, fanboying over a guest today a little bit because Steve Moulton, no relation to you, last night had Brent Musburger on, and he fanboyed it. I mean, he just went off on it, and I busted his chops a little bit, and then everybody reminded me that last week when I had, or 2 weeks ago when I had Michael Caray on, I got a little bit giddy. And I was recalling the game that you and I did when Michael Caray came into booth and we did an interview with him, or at least I did an interview with him. I think you were there as well. I don't remember because I was so excited to have Michael Caray on. We interviewed him before we did the spring training game between the Red Sox and the Yankees. You and I broadcast that game. So I ask you, have you ever had somebody on, because you work in a booth with big names, but have you ever had somebody on your show that you fanboyed a little bit when he was on with you?
Jim Brown.
Oh, my God, you had Jim Brown on? Oh, I'm going to fanboy you having Jim Brown on.
Yeah, and he was about ready to play a round of golf, I think at Riviera, and he was literally standing on the side of the putting green doing the interview. And a big Jim Brown fan, and so that was a fanboy moment without question. Luckily, we had LeBron on once too, but it happened so last minute, I didn't have a chance to choke.
Yeah.
But Jim Brown, I knew all day, and that one was I was a bit giddy. I got to be honest.
I met him once as a teenager. My dad took me to a preseason game, and Jim Brown was signing interviews outside. It was actually in Toronto. It was the Browns and the Patriots playing a preseason game in Toronto, and we went up there to see it, and Jim Brown was outside signing autographs, and I got to meet him and shake his hand. The thing about JB is that, I mean, he's just so intimidating. That's the thing, I think, why, when you do an interview with him, he's not, like, joking around much. He is a very intimidating type of individual.
Yeah, I went lacrosse angle first.
Oh, good for you.
Just go a little different and, get them to start talking and what have you. So I went the lacrosse angle, in which I just said, there are some that say that you are not just the greatest football player ever, but that you were the greatest lacrosse player ever. How good were you? And so it just kind of got them talking.
And for our listeners that don't know this, much like the NBA had to change the lane for Wilt Chamberlain to get him out of the lane when he was scoring 100 points and, it used to actually look like a key. They had to widen the lane for him. The rules of lacrosse were changed because of Jim Brown. He would take the stick and pin the ball to his chest and just run through. Now, you see a lacrosse game now, you see them cradling the ball. You got to cradle the ball as you run with the ball. Jim Brown used to pin the ball to his chest and run through everybody, and they changed the rules of lacrosse because of Jim Brown. That's how great he was.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
But I was definitely a fanboy.
Yeah,
definitely a fanboy.
That's certainly a worthy one. We're joined by David Moulton. All right, David, the odds came out recently for the college football playoff teams to make the college football playoff. And this is absolutely remarkable. My listeners have a pretty good sense of gambling and how these odds work. But this is absolutely remarkable. There are 4 teams, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Oklahoma, that are sub-even money, minus money, minus 400, minus 700, minus 220, and minus 200 to make the 14 playoffs. So there's no value in that, right? And there's no value in Georgia at plus 150. Let's start there, right? I mean, you got to bet $100 to make $150 on Georgia. But how remarkable is it, though, at this point in time, that we have 4 greater than even money teams just to make the playoff?
I'm a little surprised at it. I really am, especially since Alabama, even though they're arguably the best team, they've got some games on their schedule. I mean, some legitimate games. I mean, I think if for no other reason that at A&M, the Iron Bowl on the road, and in all likelihood Georgia in Atlanta, mean as opposed to Ohio State or Clemson, and Clemson can afford to lose to Georgia and be fine. They're going to be favored by double digits in every game they play the rest of the way. Same with Ohio State, who will likely be favored in double digits in every game they play. I mean, Bama's got some games that could trip them up, that could prevent them from getting to the conference championship game, that could trip them up once they get there so that maybe they're left on the outside looking in. I'm a little surprised, but then again, the name takes over. You know who I'm looking at? Is it time to take a chance on a Cincinnati?
To make it.
For value.
Yeah.
For value. To make
now they're
playoff.
plus 1,100, just to give a number to our listeners. They're plus 1,100, which means a $100 bill, a $10 bill will make you $110. A $100 bill will make you $1,100 if Cincinnati just makes it. They're starting out in the AP poll, which I know doesn't mean anything, but I say hogwash to that because all of these committee members, they know what these ratings and rankings are. But they're starting out about 7 or 8. They're going to run the table. I mean, I looked at their schedule. Where do they lose a game? So what do you do with them at 12-0?
Well, I don't know if they're going to run the table, but it's because they're starting in the top 10. And I know the first college football playoff poll doesn't come out until early November. But trust me, this is a sport of groupthink. If Cincinnati's in the preseason top 10 in both the AP and the coaches, then the playoff committee is going to think that way also. Week 3, they're at Indiana. Remember, Indiana had a good year last year. Then they have a bye week. Then they're at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to be undefeated in the top 10 when they play them on the road. It'll be nationally televised. If Cincinnati were to win that, think of where Cincinnati's going to be in the polls. They'll be in the top 5. And now you keep going, toughest games in their conference. UCF, they get them at home. I mean, they don't play Memphis. You look at it, SMU even, they get them at home. I mean, you start to see all of a sudden here where Cincinnati's 12-0 playing the AAC title game, and you look around and go, hey, we've given Oklahoma a shot as the 4 before. Should we give Cincinnati a shot? And this is where, Cincinnati blowing that bowl game to Georgia last year, I mean, that would have been a nice little caveat to have heading into this season, because then they could have been standing there with their arms crossed, Tom, going, come on now, we beat Georgia and Atlanta. We haven't lost since. So that's the team that I think maybe is worth a few shekels to make the playoff.
Yeah, forgot about the Notre Dame game there. That's right. They do have that Notre Dame game. And the key, I think you're right, though, the key is that game at Indiana. Because if they get dumped there, then the Notre Dame game becomes a moot point, because then it's just an upset if they happen to win that game. They have to beat Indiana to set up a huge game with Notre Dame. And then they could see, who would they see in a championship game? They might see Memphis then, at that particular point in time in a championship game. So Cincinnati is one at plus 1,100. All right, let's just throw a couple of others out there. LSU is plus 1,000. That's a pretty long deal, 10-1. Is LSU worth a flyer at plus 1,000? Can they bounce back? But now that Miles Brennan is out, but can they bounce back and be anything near what they were a couple of years ago?
I think it's too much to ask. I do. They have too many tough games on their schedule. Bama's on the road. They got Florida. I mean, heck, they even have to go to Lane and Ole Miss at an awkward part on their schedule. I would not put money on LSU. If anything, I'd put money on A&M. If there's somebody in the West that has a chance to make the playoff not named Alabama, I gotta believe it's the team in College Station.
Well, they're 5-0 when Alabama gets there. All right, there's no reason for them not to be 5-0. If they dump Alabama at home, which is a doable thing, if they beat Alabama at home, you wonder a little bit about going to Missouri the next week. They could get tripped up. Missouri's not going to suck, but they're at Missouri.
No.
And that's what they pulled out of the East. They pulled Missouri, and I think who else they pulled out of the East? Vandy or South Carolina?
No,
South Carolina and
South
Missouri.
Carolina.
Yeah. So
But see, Tom, here's the thing: if you beat Bama, and obviously it's a huge if, and they'll probably be a 10-point dog, but they'll be at home. It'll be prime time, and we all know that there are games in which this is, Jimbo's time for the program. You need a program-defining win. In theory, that's it. If you get it, you now can afford to lose a game because you'll get to Atlanta, and if you beat Georgia, you go. I mean, the one-loss SEC champion is never going to be left out of a 14 playoff. So that's the significance of it. They're 5-0 and they beat Bama. They can even get tripped up. They'll still make the playoff if they beat Georgia.
Yeah, well, yeah, if they beat Georgia. Because, that Ole Miss game at Ole Miss and the LSU game at LSU, those are always going to be a little bit problematic, or at least this year it feels like Ole Miss could be a problem for somebody there. David Moulton with us here. We're talking about the odds of some of these teams getting home in the playoff this year. Notre Dame. We mentioned Notre Dame. So say Notre Dame beats Cincinnati. They're plus 700. They have no conference championship game to play. They always play a competitive schedule, but it seems to be a schedule that they can navigate. 700 is, 7-1 is pretty good odds. Again, you're looking to take a flyer. What do you think about Notre Dame plus 700?
They lost a lot. I mean, do they even have 10 starters back from last year? I mean, they lost a lot. Mm-hmm. It would surprise me with their schedule if they could pull it off. I'm going to throw a huge flyer that I think you could get big money on.
Okay.
Washington.
Plus 900. Not as big a number as I thought it was. I thought Washington would be plus 900, honest. Washington. Yeah, Oregon is plus 650. Yeah, they're plus 900.
Yeah, I think Washington might be the class of the Pac-12 this year. I don't believe they play USC in the regular season. They get Oregon at home. They play one non-conference game that's worth a damn. It's at Michigan week 2. They should win it. UCLA, who's going to be decent this year, they get them at home coming off a bye. In theory, Washington, they might be favored in every game they play.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, that Notre Dame at FSU opening weekend, I think that's Labor Day night on ABC. That ought to be interesting. That'll let us see if Mike Norvell has got anything going on there. Is the kid from UCF, is he actually going to start at quarterback? Are you telling me that kid who almost had his leg ripped off 3 years ago, is he going to start for FSU?
Most people believe he's going to win the battle. They sent both quarterbacks to ACC Media Days, but most people believe it's going to be Mackenzie Milton. And I'll say this, Tom, I think Florida State is much improved. They have a really difficult schedule. I mean, they're going to be underdogs in 5. They play 5 of the top 16 teams in the country in the preseason polls. And that program's not ready for the schedule that's in front of them. I mean, they could go 5-7 and actually be a decent team. It's a bad schedule year for where they are in Norvell's development. He's crushing it on the recruiting trail. I think the Noles come back. But I think this is going to be a tough year to show it in the standings.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to say for next time, the NFL, it's just the numbers don't lie. Every year, half the teams that made the playoffs don't make the playoffs the next year in the NFL. It's crazy to say, but it's true. So I want to look next time. Let's talk about teams that were in the playoff last year that are in trouble this year and who may replace them. So we'll save that for next time with David Moulton.
All right.
But it's good to talk to you.
I'm ready.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. We'll do it again next week.
All right.
All right, man.
Take care.
Thanks. David Moulton. It's good stuff right there. He's a smart guy. Smart dude. All right, let's get a break. I'm fanboying him for talking to Jim Brown. I'm vicariously fanboying through David Moulton to Jim Brown.
I can see that coming. I could hear it in your voice. Jim Brown!
Oh, my God. I couldn't even interview Jim Brown. And I've interviewed some, several Hall of Famers, a lot of great people over the years in this business, in the sports business, in the music business. Man, had Hank Williams Jr. on the show a couple of times. Big sports fan, big Alabama fan out of Montgomery, Alabama. I don't think I could interview Jim Brown. I'd be just like, not sure I could do it. All right, phone lines are open the rest of the way. If you want in, get in. I really am interested in what you think about what Jack Morris said, and if it's offensive, especially. Reaching out to our Asian American community. If you're listening to me, Asian American community, what Jack Morris said about Shohei Ohtani when he came up to plate.
Now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani?
Be very, very careful.
I want to know whether or not that bothers us. He apologized for it later. I'll let you hear the apology. All right, we'll come back. 256-576-4977 is your number. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
The Braves -200 moneyline favorites at the Marlins tonight. Miami +170. The over-under 7.5. It'll be Charlie Morton on the hill for Atlanta. With only one more full calendar month left in the 2021 Major League Baseball season, the Dodgers still the odds-on favorite to repeat as World Series champions at +300. The Astros and White Sox each at +500, with the Giants and Rays behind them each at +800 odds. Golf, the 2021 Northern Trust Open this week. Jon Rahm, the odds-on favorite at 10-1. Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, and Dustin Johnson each at 16-1, with Xander Schauffele and Brooks Koepka at 20-1. The Northern Trust begins tomorrow in New Jersey.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner of University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. And a quick shout out to my son, Avery Seaton, number 19. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including our all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and the sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in the Kia. Go Mustangs!
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford, at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there. Woody Anderson Ford.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. This is just your typical summertime fare across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s, some of us climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. It does look like there's going to be a larger lack of sunshine through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a bit lower, highs hanging out in the low and mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Segment of the show is brought to you by our good friends at North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it is North Alabama Mortgage. And look, you want to deal with people. I mean, this is what this is all about. It's not about what kind of a deal can you get and so on and so forth, because they're going to get you the best deals possible. What you want to make sure is that you're dealing with somebody who can guide you through the morass that is getting a mortgage for a refi or a new buy and so on. And the mortgage rates are outstanding right now. So you want Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Okay, go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's North Alabama Mortgage to learn more on that. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Your text window is 732-982-7469. That will get you into the show, and we'll get those read on the air for you as well. So I played for you the comment that was made by Jack Morris, and I want you to hear the comment and his apology.
Now what do you do with Shohei Ohtani?
Be very careful. Well, folks, Shohei Ohtani has come to the plate, and it's been brought to my attention, and I sincerely apologize if I offended anybody, especially anybody in the Asian community, for what I said about pitching and being careful to Shohei Ohtani. I did not intend for any offensive thing, and I apologize if I did. Certainly respect and have the utmost respect for this guy, and don't blame a pitcher for walking.
All right, so, Grizz, you and I are from different generations. I'm old enough to be your daddy. Does that bother you? What you just heard?
I mean no, because I didn't, like, I'm 31, and so, like, I'm not, like, a lot of stuff doesn't offend me as much as, like, maybe somebody 20 years younger than me or, like, even 15 years younger than me might feel. You know, I just look past it a lot of the times. I look at as I feel like that we can't laugh at each other. Like, we can't laugh at ourselves nowadays, especially. Like, we have to say it's a joke, or, like, we have to say it's comedy. I think it's something that obviously you don't say in a professional setting, obviously. I get it. We want to, like, make baseball more fun. We want to, you know, laugh. You know, he may have just had a slip. I don't even think it's a slip. I think we just, you know, we just say stupid things sometimes. I think it's people just taking it out of context, and they're, like, calling someone a racist, or, like, calling somebody this or calling somebody that without even, like, really knowing the person. You know what I mean? They said it on one word. What if I heard you say one word? Term is, like, I will go insane over it. It's insane.
The thing is offensive. Yeah. Is it offensive? You know what I mean?
I think it is a little bit in a way, because he did use the accent. But I'll say this, Tom. I watched The Office. I watch there's a lot of great comedy shows that I like to watch where they use, accents and stuff, and we laugh at it, and there's tons of people out there that love The Office, right?
Right.
It's a great show. But Michael Scott does the character Ping that a lot of people claim that is racist, and there's a great skit where he meets Ricky Gervais, who was the original Michael Scott from The Office, the British version. His name's not Michael Scott. But he meets him, and they express it to each other that it's just comedy, and a lot of people just use it as comedy. And I think it's like unless you're not a comedian, you can't use it. You know what I mean? So like I said, it looks offensive in a professional setting.
Text window. That's complete
bullcrap.
That he had to apologize for that.
I don't think he had to apologize. I think they should have just kept going on with everything that's going on.
If he doesn't, no. If he doesn't. He might have got suspended. I don't know what they're doing to him now. I don't know if he got, hopefully he didn't get, whacked now. I mean, hopefully that was the end of it where, when he gave that apology. I would hope that was the end of it. But I feel like I'm walking a fine line.
This isn't Tom Brennan we're talking about here, though.
But I used to say this about the name Redskins and the name Indians. All right, the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
I had an opinion about the Cleveland Indians. Chief Wahoo was offensive. Yeah. That was an offensive logo with the big grin and the big teeth and the red face.
Right.
That was an offensive logo. I don't think any logos that the Braves, the Chiefs, the Seminoles, the Blackhawks use are offensive. I don't think any of those logos. I think the Blackhawk that's on the head of the Chicago Blackhawks jersey is one of the most beautiful jerseys ever.
Yeah.
I thought that the logo that the Redskins used was incredibly depictive of a Native American.
Of course.
I didn't think it was saying. Now, I also didn't think the term Redskins was offensive, but I don't know because I'm not Native. You know what I mean? So I would always lean on folks that were natives. I would have Dominic Bramante, who's full-blooded Cherokee Indian or Choctaw Indian or whatever he is out of Oklahoma. I would have him come out and tell me, is this offensive? He says, yeah, that's offensive to he said that's offensive to skins. I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? So it's like, I would have to defer to those people. So that's why I say, in the Asian community, is that offensive? Was Shohei Ohtani offended by that? Are Asians who are fans, and there are a lot of fans of baseball that are Asian, are they offended by that?
Again,
they're the ones I would have to hear from because I can't speak for them.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think a lot of times it's the players that are offended by it. It's like, so I don't even think Shohei Ohtani even he probably got told about it.
But if they
played
it for him, would he wig out if they played that for him? Would he, flip out?
Nah, he's like a kid out there playing baseball, man. Right. I mean, I think he would have brushed it off, and he wouldn't have. I mean, because he would have came out and said something. It seems like every time that a broadcaster or a former player or a current player or something says a word, another player, right, or like another coach or somebody comes out and fights for him. You know what I mean? Or like wants him to talk about it or whatever. Let's meet over here at this Starbucks and let's talk about it. Like, it just seems like there's always somebody that comes out of nowhere that has to be like the Superman, you know what I mean, to save the day and something. And I don't think the player did anything. I think it's people outside of baseball that hear it on social media and then they run with it. And then it gets worse because at the end of the day, we don't give the person the benefit of the doubt. We just run on that one word that they may have said. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's an interesting commentary on where we are at now in our society. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how we talk about gender, how we talk about transgender, how we talk about a person's sexual preference. I mean, everything has some kind of connotation to it. And one of the things is, and I heard a lot about this in the last 24 hours, there are people that think that Tim Tebow was released because of his Christian beliefs. Because he is very, very vocal and strong about his Christian beliefs, and that's why they cut him loose. That's not why they cut him loose. I love Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
And I'm listen. I try to be as strong as I can be in my faith. I love Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was not released because of his Christian beliefs.
Yeah. That's absolutely stupid.
Yeah. I mean, Tim Tebow is, was released because he couldn't play tight end. They couldn't even use him on special teams. You can't use him on special teams. Dude can't play tight end. Grumpy says, as a Japanese American, I'm not offended. What do you mean? You're not Japanese American?
He might be.
Maybe he is. No.
Might have some blood.
You think?
Maybe.
No. Grumpy doesn't have any Japanese American in him. I don't think. Listen, I'm Italian, and we use a lot of
okay. I got a perfect one. You're talking about Italian. Can I say this real quick? Ben DiNucci. Every time.
Ben DiNucci.
Every time Ben DiNucci goes out there, every announcer, ESPN, all week, Ben DiNucci. You don't think that's offensive to Italian people? Like,
that doesn't bother me.
You think that's annoying just to hear? Like, I mean, just shut up. I find it annoying, and I'm not even Italian. I mean, it's just absolutely Ben DiNucci. Like, I get it. Like, it's funny, but I get it. He's probably heard it his whole life.
Well, I use the how you doings at the beginning of the show. How you doing? How you doing? You know what I mean? How you doing?
Ben DiNucci. It's like, come on, we get it. But
there are certain stereotypes that are just they're there. I mean, and it's I don't know that it's the end of the world. I don't know.
I mean, comedians have made.
He says he identifies as Japanese.
I guess you can just do whatever you want now. You really can do whatever you want now because if you get questioned, you're just gonna get ridiculed for it. If you question me, Tom, I identify the Power Rangers as superheroes. So, boom, you can't dog me for that.
Yeah,
You don't hear the word no very often, do you?
I hear it all the time, only it's more like, no, please, no.
Hey, no, please, no. I mean, come on.
I want the gabagool.
Hey.
I'll have the gabagool today.
All right. So if you want to react to that, you can react to that. The Scott Frost thing. I was hoping that this wouldn't happen. Phone lines are open. You want to get in, you can get in. 256-576-4977. Grizz, have I ever told you the Scott Frost story off the air?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to approach this very carefully because...
Ooh, juicy.
Yeah. I don't know why. Because I got it. It was first-hand info, but I don't want to throw this guy under the bus. You know what I mean? But if you haven't heard, Scott Frost is in hot water right now. Is there a pun involved there? Scott Frost is in hot water? I don't know. He's getting defrosted.
He's melting right now.
Scott's getting defrosted right now. His fall from grace continues. Remember him. He won a national championship, with UCF. Just ask him. Anyway, Frost and Nebraska, they're under NCAA investigation for improper use of analysts and consultants. Supposedly there is significant video footage that violations took place at practice with Frost there. One of the issues is that he used a coach that is not an on-field coach as his special teams coordinator, running a special teams portion of his practice. I mean, again, it's just what the NCAA is reduced to worrying about, right? There was a coach, analysts off the field. You're only allowed to have 10 assistant coaches in college football. You can have analysts up to yin-yang, but the analysts can't, like when Butch Jones was at Alabama as an analyst, or even when Steve Sarkisian was in that role, or even when Lane Kiffin was in that role when they first came over before they became full-fledged assistants. They're not allowed to have an on-field presence coaching anybody in practice. He used a guy by the name of Jonathan Rutledge as running his special teams, even though Rutledge wasn't one of the 10 full-time on-field assistant coaches. They also got evidence that they practiced some away from campus. Or not practice. They worked out. They had workouts that they had strength workouts off-campus location to avoid detection by non-football school officials. And their workouts were held by the Nebraska staff. Nebraska strength and conditioning coach saying, hey, meet me at Gold's Gym. Hey, good God. Scared the hell out of me. Holy mackerels. I looked through the little glass window. Grizz was gone, and Moulton was there. Scared the hell out of me. Anyway.
You're welcome.
Yeah. What happened? Did he do something wrong? Is that the Varsity Grill there in Atlanta? That shirt you're wearing, that's from the Varsity, right?
It is. Yes.
I'm a little rattled now all of a sudden that you're sitting there. What happened to Grizz? Something happened to Grizz? Is he all right?
No. Our winner for the Trash Panda tickets came in, and
cool.
I don't know where the Trash Panda tickets are.
So the Scott Frost story. All right. I'm going to approach this carefully. I would, Steve, you've heard of Chuck Foreman. You know Chuck Foreman is a great running back from the NFL, Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Number 44. Was very close to making the Hall of Fame. Ended up not making it. May still get in maybe someday by the senior committee. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Anyway, Chuck Foreman, his son Jay Foreman, was a inside linebacker for Nebraska back in the 90s who went on to play for the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if you remember Jay Foreman. But Jay Foreman was a defensive captain of those great Nebraska teams in the 90s. In 1996, I think it was, Nebraska went to Arizona State, and they got beat by Jake Plummer and the Arizona State Sun Devils 19-0. Now, the year before, Nebraska had beaten Arizona State 77-28. The next year, with basically the same team and with the same quarterback, Scott Frost, Nebraska went to Arizona and got beat by Arizona State 19-0. I had the opportunity when I was in Naples, Florida, when I was on the air down there. I had the opportunity once to play golf with Chuck. I played golf with Chuck a couple of times, but one time when we were playing, he brought his son Jay along. So I played golf with Jay Foreman and Chuck Foreman. This was 5 years after that had happened. So at the time, Jay was with the Bills, and he was probably a 23-year-old, 24, 25-year-old man at that time, Jay Foreman. Without me asking, he started telling me the story of their loss to Arizona State. He told me things about that game and things that happened in that game. He kept saying, go back and look at the tape. Go back and look at the tape. Look at what Scott did on this play. Look at what Scott did on that play. He went on to tell me that Scott was issued a code red on the plane on the way back to Lincoln. You know what a code red is, right? He got roughed up, but
you can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth. He got the guys kind of got after him a little bit and roughed him up a little bit on the plane on the way back. There was a lot of innuendo. Jay came right out and said it. This wasn't like second, third, fourth person. He told me this story 20 years ago with some more specific detail than what I can say or than what I want to say right now. Because ironically, Jay, apparently this year, Jay and Jason Peters, remember Jason Peters, the defensive lineman for Nebraska? Outstanding defensive lineman. That apparently Jay Foreman and Jason Peters are working as volunteer assistants helping with some aspect of Nebraska football, where Scott Frost has kind of reached back to some of the old players and brought them in. It is a disturbing story that I had heard from years and years ago. And as I watched Scott Frost's career take off as a coach, I always thought back about the story that Jay Foreman told me about Scott Frost's, shall we say, uncanny poor performance in the game against Arizona State. Grizz missed the whole story. Did you give him his tickets, by the way, Grizz? Brandon?
Yes, I did.
Congratulations to Brandon Pruitt, by the way. He won tickets.
Hear you very well.
He won tickets to the... Is it your headset? Maybe you got a bad headset? You got a cheap headset? Is that what's going on? No?
It's not the headset. It's how it's plugged into the board. That was every time that I've taken it out of queue and then put it back into queue, it's either like lower or higher. And if my mic is on, I can hear myself a lot higher because of how much volume obviously mine is.
I don't understand it.
But if it's in queue, I can like barely hear it in queue sometimes.
I don't understand it, but that's very much a high-end board that we have in there.
Oh yeah, no. It's just
that's state-of-the-art equipment that we're using.
The cord to the connector, that's probably what it is. Yeah. The little But yeah, I didn't get to listen to the Scott Frost story, but thank you, Brandon Pruitt, for coming in and getting your tickets.
Yeah,
he's going to bring his doggo out and his family, and he's looking forward to it.
Is he going to take his dog?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dog doesn't need a ticket, though.
No, dog does not need a ticket. What is it? How many fans get the
500. First 500. No, not fans.
Or doggos.
First 500 dogs.
I don't know if there's gonna be 500 dogs.
There's enough dog tags for 500. It says
there's gonna be plenty then.
It says the first 500 dogs.
Okay.
Get
I thought it was like 1,500 people or something.
No, first 500 dogs.
There could be some
get
dog owners
tag.
out there that don't take their dog to the park.
I need to call down there and have them set one aside for me.
A dog tag?
Maybe I can have Josh set one. I want one of those dog tags. I can't get to the game tonight. I want one of those dog tags. All right. We used to have dog tags associated with the show. Are you going to take that home?
That's Steve's.
Yeah. Oh, it's Steve's. Yeah, I could see Steve wearing it. That makes a lot. That fits. I used to have dog tags for the show. It was one of the great promotions we ever did. And what it was, Grizz, is that if you had a dog tag, you would get a dog tag, and it had the station's logo on it.
Yeah.
And then on the back, it had Thom Abraham Show logo on it. So on one side, it had the station, and then the other side, it had Thom Abraham Show logo. The dog tag was good for discounts at various restaurants. Like if you took it to Bob Myers, you got 10% off your bill. If you took it to
I never knew about that.
No, this is 15 years ago now.
Oh, that's
if you took it to a pizza joint, you got like a free drink with your pizza. If you took it
that's
to
awesome.
At various places, you know what I mean? If you took it to a Stars game, you got a free ticket for, like, if you bought 2 tickets, you got a third ticket free or something like that. Or maybe you bought a ticket, or maybe they just gave you a ticket because nobody go to the game.
I could get tickets off like the gas station counter back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Stars, you just got a ticket.
You could get tickets at the local gas station.
A ticket that was hard to get was a ticket to a Tennessee Valley Viper game. If you had a dog tag, you got a discount on your tickets to the Tennessee Valley
cool.
Vipers.
I miss the Vipers. I do.
Yeah,
I do miss indoor football a little bit. It was a nice little thing for a while.
There's a nice little league going on right now.
Yeah, there's a few, and
there's the main one. The IFL is the main one, and there's teams that like the Kevin Guy's team, the Arizona Rattlers are in that league now. The Iowa Barnstormers are in that league. A lot of the teams that were AFL teams are now in the IFL. So yeah, Blake Sims is playing
that. Yeah.
He is. Blake Sims is playing. He plays for Spokane. I
think
he plays for Spokane. Yeah. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back and have a final segment next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should,
Or it's needing new tires? Or you're just ready for something newer? It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
In 2 years, you can have a career that makes sense for you. Skill up and earn a living working with your hands, or work on the front line of computer information systems and cybersecurity. Get a degree that lets your healing heart take care of people. Help design and manufacture the most advanced cars, machinery, or even aerospace components. In just 2 years, great careers are within your reach at Drake State Community and Technical College. Visit drakestate.edu to apply.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Your home for the best coverage of football anywhere.
See, now this is a football. I want you to carry this with you always. Never let it out of your sight.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Connor O'Gara, our good friend from Saturday Down South, he has a preview posted right now at Saturday Down South, a game-by-game prediction for Auburn this year. We're kind of close on where we're at, and we sit here and we pick where Auburn's going to finish in the SEC West, and we're embarrassed to say 5, that we picked them 5th, if you pick them 5th. I picked them 5th. I mean, I have got Alabama, Texas A&M, LSU, Ole Miss, and then Auburn. And it doesn't even sound right to say 5th. But it could be a tough year for Auburn this year and for Brian Harsin in his first year. Now, he has them going 3-1 in their non-conference schedule. He has them beating, of course, Akron, Alabama State, and Georgia State, and losing on the road to Penn State at a whiteout at Beaver Stadium. So that would be the first big significant dose of reality for Brian Harsin when he goes to Penn State. If they win that game, then we look at Auburn as a totally different thing. But he has them losing at LSU, agreed. He has them losing at home against Georgia, agreed. He has them losing at Arkansas, to fall to 3-4. I'm on the fence on that one. Not necessarily going there. But he has them beating Ole Miss with T.J. Finley taking over for Bo Nix after the bye week. He has T.J. Finley taking over after falling to 3-4 overall and 0-3 in the league. The bye week is week 8. He says that T.J. Finley is the starter for week 9. He has them beating Ole Miss at home. He has them losing to Texas A&M. He has them losing at home to Mississippi State. I disagree with that one. They will beat Mississippi State at home. They're not going to lose to Mississippi State at home. He has them beating South Carolina at South Carolina, losing to Alabama. He has them at 5-7, 2-6, 7th in the SEC West. How many teams are in the SEC West? 7. He has them 7th, last in the SEC West. I haven't beaten Mississippi State, but I have them losing to Ole Miss. But I have them beating Arkansas. See, I have them 7-5. 6-6, 7-5. But protect yourself, gird yourself, Auburn fan. It could be that kind of a season this year. And then you'll be waxing poetic about how you ran off a guy who in 8 years beat Nick Saban 3 times, won the division twice, went to the national championship once, but never had back-to-back top 15 years either with Gus Malzahn. The Gus Malzahn seesaw. All right. This one is in the hopper. Coming up next, it's Chuck Oliver, Paul Feinbaum, and The Drive without Brent Musburger, although they'll probably play it back. Who knows? For Chad, I'm Tom. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 11:15.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Chad, cue the cheesy Italian music. So you're in charge of the dinner spot, and the family is a hard group to please. Dad wants award-winning 21-day age certified Angus beef. Mom craves authentic Italian food like great-grandma. Sissy pretty much won't eat anything but fresh seafood. And old life of the party, Uncle Walter, likes to enjoy a cigar after dinner with some live local entertainment and some killer cocktails. So you think you're in a pickle? Well, you're not. Relax. I'm Tom Chapman, chef at Nick's Ristorante at 10300 Bailey Cove Road, just south of Weatherly. We have all that and more. Our friendly and helpful staff is eager to help you Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5. So, corral that crazy crew of yours and give us a call at 256-489-8280 or tell them to check us out at nicksristorante.com. I promise you, the gang will all think you're a culinary cruise director of awesomeness if you take them all to Nick's. See you soon. Ciao. Okay, Chad, kill that music.
Nick's is for patrons 19 or older.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
Guys, when we were 20, we never had to worry about spontaneity. And now that we've gotten older, spontaneity has been replaced with pills and injections. We're just trying to keep that intimacy, but it's taken away from spontaneity. At Advanced Life Clinic, we now offer GainsWave, which uses sound waves to non-invasively treat this issue with no need for pills or injections. Just give us a call, 256-888-9367, or check us out online, advancedlifeclinic.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Ann Adams. Ann, I understand you have some exciting news.
Yes, Wes, I do. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services was just recognized in the 30th Annual Harris Poll Equitrend as the Real Estate Agency Brand of the Year and the most trusted real estate brand.
That is awesome news, Ann. You know, great companies in Huntsville, Alabama winning awards is what we want. Is it a great time to list your home?
Yes, it is. The inventory is low and the market is heating up.
And I understand you're also looking for agents.
I am. We are so busy, Wes, we need agents to keep up with the demand.
Ann Adams and Rise Real Estate has been doing business in North Alabama for the last 35 years. If you want to do business with someone you can trust, she has been writing contracts since she was 9 years old. Call Ann today at 256-337-2625.
Drinking coffee straight from the pot. Power move. Wearing a bathrobe to work. Power move. Switching to super fast, extra reliable internet from WOW. Power move. Switch and save with WOW internet for just $19.99 a month. It's switching season, so make a move with our best deal of the year. Get the speed you need starting with Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month. Plus, ask how to get $200 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today. Wow. Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
With only one more full calendar month left in the 2021 Major League Baseball season, the Dodgers still the odds-on favorite to repeat as World Series champions at plus 300. The Astros and White Sox each at plus 500, with the Giants and Rays behind them each at plus 800 odds. Golf, the 2021 Northern Trust Open this week. John Rahm, the odds-on favorite at 10-1. Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa, and Dustin Johnson each at 16-1, with Xander Schauffele and Brooks Koepka at 20-1. The Northern Trust begins tomorrow in New Jersey. The Braves minus 200 moneyline favorites at the Marlins tonight. Miami plus 170. The over-under 7.5. It'll be Charlie Morton on the hill for Atlanta.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible. This is just your typical summertime fare across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s, some of us climbing into the lower 90s. We're only going to drop into the low and mid 70s as we head into the overnight. It does look like there's going to be a larger lack of sunshine through Thursday afternoon. Temperatures are going to be a bit lower, highs hanging out in the low and mid 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Football season is here.
Got a touchdown on a slant play. Rayleigh Cooper, a catch. Oh, my.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
In the South, it's always college football season, and the king of college football reigns supreme all year long. Southern Sports Today proudly presents The Chuck Oliver Show. It's an inside look at everything college football. Now live from Atlanta, Georgia, it's time to talk college football with the reigning king of college football, Chuck Oliver, on Southern Sports Today.
There is one upside to other Power 5 conferences telling the SEC, we ain't playing you anymore. It is the Chuck Oliver Show on a Wednesday, and I am back. I was out yesterday. Dan, how'd the show go yesterday? We okay? FCC fines, yes or no?
Yeah, no.
Okay,
no,
lost affiliates to this point.
Do not believe so.
I'm telling you, folks, I keep the bar pretty low. All right, those are the basics. No FCC fines. I think it's $250,000, and I can't afford that. Swear words and such. And then no lost affiliates, and so that means everybody that heard the show on Monday still has the opportunity here today, so that's awesome.
And no mean tweets, too, so 3 for 3.
Said there is one upside if other Power 5 conferences play out their posturing right now. We may reevaluate how often we schedule y'all. Now, let me skip to the end of this. That's not going to happen.
it's just something nice to say in August of 2021 when you already have so many contracts and such stamped and gold sealed and, dip the ring in it. And all right, there we go. We're good. You already have a lot of that taken care of for years down the road. I mean, I think Oregon plays Ohio State this year, and so maybe they would do that going forward. They are booked to play Georgia at some point. They played Tennessee in the past, I know. So they're willing to play folks. They played LSU in a season opener, but that was a one-off. But there is a general feel coming out of, I'll say, other Power 5 conferences. It's mostly the Pac-12. And then second place would be the Big 12. Now, this is the reason that it's in that order, because the Pac-12 is on even more high alert because the Pac-12 is going to survive the next round of conference expansion and realignment. The Big 12, they're not quite as on edge because I don't believe there are a whole lot of people trying to save that conference. I think that there are a lot of folks involved with that conference right now, some of them in the league office, some of them on campuses in Waco and Lubbock, et cetera, that are looking around going, what are the other boats we could jump on? So that's why I think that's the hierarchy there. But there's a lot of posturing, and that's exactly what it is right now. You know what? We may not need the Southeastern Conference as much as they need us if we all band together. Now, the ACC is the interesting one here because they've been involved in this whatever level of conversation's been going on as well. And the general tone is, how can we protect ourselves against what happens next? It's ironic to me that Bob Bowlesby is now having these sort of close personal conversations with other conference commissioners when he was just having the same thing with Greg Sankey up until a month ago. And we see how that turned out for Bob Bowlesby and eventually for the Big 12. So it's all posturing right now. And I think that the ACC and Jim Phillips, part of this, only to kind of keep an eye on things. Because the ACC, first of all, if you want to talk about that possibility that is just being whispered about, and it's not possible, not really, and it wouldn't even be advisable. There would be no win there. I'll get to that in a second. But as far as not playing the SEC or not playing them as often or, I don't know, putting a cap on it. You know, Canadian Football League teams have a cap on the number of American players you can have there. There used to be, I don't know if this is true anymore, there used to be a cap in Canada on either the percentage of music from American artists or you had to reserve a percentage of your time for Canadian-born artists. But if you're talking about the SEC being this big bad wolf and these other conferences deciding we're going to kind of band together and we may cap how many games we play or just some sort of punitive sanction to show the SEC that you're not driving this bus as much as you. That's the real point here. It is to send a message not to Greg Sankey because Greg Sankey knows what's what. It is to send a message to Gen Pop, the media, folks involved in college football at various levels, and some of them high up the structure, who may not be as clued in as decision makers in downtown Birmingham. It's a bluff. And the only, quote, teeth in all of these conversations with the other conferences going, you know what, we're just going to take a look at this SEC aggression, and we're going to have some steps that we're going to announce. We're unified. Okay, well, you be unified then. You are the tip of the spear, George Klyavkov. That's the Pac-12 commissioner. And so one of the ideas being talked, we're going to limit the playoffs. I was like, okay, that'd be a great idea. Pac-12, you've had one qualifier, I think, the last 5 years. 1 in 5 seasons. And now you want to make it even more difficult instead of more able going forward for your conference to get in. When I say more difficult, yeah, go ahead and cap that playoffs. We may just keep it at 4. All right, well, the SEC just got Texas and Oklahoma added to their mix. You know what that sounds like? 2 playoff teams every year. So instead of them definitely taking a quarter of the spots and sometimes half, they're going to take half every year. So play that game if you want to. So I dismissed that one. But we may have some scheduling alliances that we come up with, and that may take up all our non-conference games. Mm-hmm. If that fantasy were to play out, if the SEC is going to be facing a more narrow selection of teams for non-conference games, at least the TV numbers will endure, if not grow. If I want to rattle off some football teams in various locales, and I say we got a football team in Cincinnati, Houston, Baltimore, Dallas, Tampa, Philadelphia, New Orleans. Well, you're talking about NFL games. No, I'm talking about the AAC is what I'm talking about. Cincinnati, Houston, Baltimore, Dallas, Tampa, Philly, New Orleans. And to that, I will add Orlando, Tulsa, and Memphis. And then ECU out in Greenville, North Carolina, which if you haven't been to ECU, you are not going to wind up there by accident. I'll leave it at that. But that's in just the AAC. I talked when I was doing Conference USA games, and it used to have about half of those teams I talked about. About half of them were in Conference USA. I'll give Conference USA credit. When the Big East went away and the AAC formed and they said, hey, if all of y'all join us, we'll have a better conference. Now, my reply was always, well, what if they just stay? Won't they have the conference you're trying to build? And they don't have to pay an exit fee? Whatever. So the AAC was new, and Conference USA, I don't know, maybe trying to shed the stigma of it. Well, it's not Southeastern Conference football. Well, no kidding. But I said that when I was doing color on those games, and I did it for, I think, 7 years or 8, maybe. When I was doing color, you know what I loved? Because I've done SEC games. Absolutely I have. And it's a challenge. I'll put it there. Get to Starkville. Get to Athens. Get to Auburn. Get to a lot of places in the SEC, folks, and tell me how, quote, easy it is. Just get there. And then tell me how the ease of travel. There are a lot of places in the SEC where, like, you fly to Memphis, rent a car, and then drive. So that's the SEC. Palm down in front of your face. Raise your hand above your head about a foot. That's the level of football in the SEC. Conference USA, about mid-chest. So I absolutely understood that. Do you know why I loved Conference USA? Fly to the airport, rent a car, drive about 4 miles. When I was doing Conference USA, it was Orlando, New Orleans, 2 teams in Houston, 1 in Dallas. I mean, it was all these huge markets for little bitty old Conference USA. I loved it. And even if they got rated, do you know what they have now? Charlotte, Miami, Houston still, Birmingham, El Paso, San Antonio. It's not the same. It ain't bad. And I have to imagine, for instance, like San Antonio, Texas, it's a much larger market than Athens, Georgia. Now, that's just comparing you to SEC locales, which is the top of the charts. When you look at the conferences who are saying, we may not want to play you anymore. Yeah, it's not like Waco and Lubbock are carrying the day TV market-wise. Now, you can go through the rest of the locales as well. And they don't all fit that profile, but you don't play the Pac-12 anyway. And the Big Ten isn't really part of this alliance. And then the ACC, Jim Phillips, I don't know him. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I don't even know what he looks like. Don't care. Seems to be doing a fine job his first 6 weeks as commissioner. Dan, good performance in Charlotte at Media Days?
I thought so, and I even used one of his quotes yesterday.
Fantastic. There you go. Rock on Jim Phillips. You know what Jim Phillips knows? Like I said, black, white, 6'4", 5'8". I don't know. Do you know what Jim Phillips knows? Jim Phillips knows that Louisville is going to play Kentucky every year. He knows that Tech is going to play Georgia. He knows that FSU is going to take on the Gators. And so this, again, posturing. And we may even examine scheduling alliances. Morton Anderson, who is one of the greatest kickers in history. I mean, toe meets leather, and he's like in the top 5, top 3, top whatever. And he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and kickers don't get in there. It's like Jan Stenerud, Morton. I don't know. Dan, when we come back from break, tell me if it's anybody besides Jan Stenerud. Do you know who Jan Stenerud is? He kicked in the NFL for about 25 years. Some Swede came over here, and it was an amazing career. Jan Stenerud and Morton Anderson. So I'm talking to Morton Anderson, and this is off the air. In fact, I think it was at College Football Hall of Fame, maybe. He went to Michigan State. And so I'm saying, hey, we're going to have you. And he's a funny guy, and I have been around him plenty because he kicked for the Atlanta Falcons, where I live, for, 7, 8 years. And his comment, he was kind of joking. I was like, we're going to have you on. And when, I started talking about all these things we'll bring up, and he laughed. He's like, it'd be better for your brand, not so much for mine. Like, basically, he's standing there in a Hall of Fame jacket, and he was like, yeah, Chuck, I come on your show. I think that helps you more than it helps me, And so it was. He was right. Folks, the same thing here. The SEC playing the Big Ten, the SEC playing the Big 12, the Pac-12, the ACC, it helps your brand a heck of a lot more than it helps the SEC. Empty posturing if I've ever seen it. Harris Cherokee Casinos are a short drive from Atlanta and will turn your fun road trip into an epic escape. Harris Cherokee Valley River Casino and Hotel, that's in Murphy, North Carolina. Got everything you need for a quick gambling getaway, slots, blackjack, craps, roulette, all of it. And if you're looking to turn your escape into the ultimate gambling adventure, head to Harris Cherokee Casino Resort in Cherokee, North Carolina for their new and expanded poker room, a huge sports viewing area, over 2,900 Vegas-style slots and table games, golf at Sequoia National Golf Club, and so much more. And the sports book at Harris Cherokee Casinos are now open. Bet on pro and collegiate sports at 2 perfectly tailored gambling getaways. Visit harrischerokee.com for details.
Must be 21 years of age or older to enter the casino floor and to gamble, and must present a valid state or federal photo ID upon request. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. An enterprise of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians.
Is your bathroom looking old and worn out? Want to update it, but you don't know where to start? Then let BCI Bath & Shower show you how to turn that old bath into an aisle of beauty and functionality. Our residential bathroom solutions provide the best value on the market, and our customer service is second to none. Our cost-effective BCI Bath & Shower family of products has what you need.
Remodeling our bathroom was a big decision for us.
They didn't make a mess out of our house at all. And at the end of the day, we had a beautiful new bathroom. And it was a great experience the whole way through.
We have the best monthly payment programs in the industry, with payments as low as $68 per month, or no interest, no payments for 18 months. That's right. Get the bathroom of your dreams now and pay for it in 2021. Call 1-800-329-4115 for a free no-obligation price quote. That's 1-800-329-4115. When you want quality bathroom products at a great price, it's got to be BCI Bath & Shower. That's 1-800-329-4115.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945. 800-386-9945.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. we can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Catch the king of college football no matter where you go with a new Southern Sports Today app. Catch the best college football conversation in the South everywhere with the SST live stream and daily podcast. Download it now at the App Store and the Google Play Store. Now more of the best college football talk in the country. It's the Chuck Oliver Show.
You don't want to kind of box him in. You want to let him play to his strengths. Obviously, I think his timing with the guys have got better. His control and understanding of the offense. His reads, I think, have gotten much better of where he's going with the ball. You know, and then his ability to create and make plays is pretty special.
Dan Mullen, I'm a huge fan. Love watching him spin it, man. And I'm talking about dialing up that offense from the sidelines. He works the play sheet about as well as anybody, and I've said it 1,000 times, and it seems impossible that you can take Kyle Trask, a kid who had never started, and I'm going to say turn him into a second-round pick. That's not exactly what happened. I mean, Kyle Trask had some input in this as well, but Dan Mullen, I mean, we've seen it, man. I'm not going to take credit away from Dak Prescott, but Dan, did he and the Cowboys finally do something contractually? Because he wanted to sign a contract for like 15 minutes and they wanted a 7-year contract. Have they worked that out?
Yeah, he got a long-term deal. The actual years and terms, I don't know.
They can opt out and do.
Yeah, he got the long-term deal. I think it was like 5 years. I think.
Okay, so he got his 35, 40 million, whatever.
He got the newest one of the day. Yes.
All right, and Dak worked and Dak sweated and he bled some, I'm sure, and he hurt on Sundays, and Dak did everything. Maybe he ran that hill, that Walter Payton Hill. If y'all don't know about the Walter Payton Hill, go Google your computer, Walter Payton Hill. The simplest DP. He didn't need DP. He didn't need Nautilus. He found a hill out in the woods of Mississippi. So he's doing whatever.